Back with another video, and in this one we are going to review an article that I just read, and we'll be looking down because I've got the article pulled up and some notes. The article from People magazine is titled "Doctor Shares Which Foods to Avoid When Taking Ozempic and Wegovy and Why These Foods Can Cause a Bad Reaction." We're going to talk about this article, and I will leave a link to the article if you want to read it in full in the description box below. So first, let's talk just briefly about what Wegovy and what Ozempic actually are. So both of these are brand names for semaglutide and are basically the same drug. And another very similar, although a little bit different drug is Mounjaro, which aims to do basically the same thing. And what these drugs do is they help treat diabetes. And one of the effects they have is they can help suppress appetite. And because of this, they have started to become more popular with people who are just trying to lose weight, because as appetite is suppressed, you eat less and potentially then can lose weight. But another effect that they have is they can cause digestion to slow down. And I've recently done a video on some lawsuits that are now coming out against these companies or the manufacturers of these drugs for, quote, stomach paralysis. And this stomach paralysis can obviously cause a number of different unwanted side effects, some of which we are going to discuss in this video. So again, we're framing this discussion for patients who are taking these drugs specifically to lose weight, not for diabetes. So the People magazine article, it cites Dr. Christopher McGowan, who is an obesity medicine physician, on what foods to avoid if taking these medications. And in my opinion, it starts off pretty well. His advice is pretty solid in the beginning. He lists difficult to digest and obviously unhealthy foods, like particularly greasy foods or foods that are high in fat. And he also states that the focus should be on lean protein, healthy fruits and vegetables, and adequate fiber and adequate fluid intake. So no argument up to this point. This is a very similar approach to what we use with our programs with a lot of our clients. But to be honest, after this point, he loses me. So he goes on to name, and again, these are things that he thinks that patients taking these medications should avoid. He goes on to name fruits and vegetables like celery, pineapple, broccoli, Brussels sprouts, asparagus, and he just goes on naming these fruits and vegetables, a number of others, because they either have a significant roughage or can potentially cause gas. So let me get this straight. We're saying that in order for a patient to get healthy and lose weight, they need to take a medication that forces them to eliminate a lot of what a healthy diet would consist of. So I understand that potentially eliminating these foods might mitigate against the unwanted side effects that come with taking these medications. But why can't we just find a way for a patient to lose weight and get healthy without destroying their nutritional intake? So unfortunately, this isn't the worst part of the article in my opinion. It gets even crazier. Novo Nordisk, the maker of Ozempic and Wegovy, they advise that people should avoid eating sweets or fried or greasy foods when taking Ozempic, especially if they are experiencing nausea, vomiting being two of the real common side effects, unwanted side effects that can happen when taking these drugs. And again, no issue here. Avoiding sweets, avoiding greasy foods, very similar to the advice given earlier. So they go on to make other recommendations. And remember, this is coming directly from the manufacturers of these drugs. So they go on to recommend when patients are taking these medications to eat bland and low-fat foods like crackers. They name specifically crackers, toast, and rice, or foods that contain water such as soups and gelatin. And honestly, when I read this, I had to read it again. I couldn't believe what I was reading. These are some of the most nutritionally devoid foods on the planet. So in my opinion, if the goal is to lose weight, to get healthy, and then be able to maintain that weight loss for life, this is just stupid. This is exactly the opposite of what you would want to do. There are certainly ways to control hunger that don't completely wreck your digestive system. In our programs, we use techniques like intermittent fasting or eliminating refined carbohydrates. And certainly there are products you can take as well that are natural, like amino acids that can have a powerful effect on suppressing your appetite.